Hi there, welcome back to day 9 of the Train the Brave challenge. How often have you waited until you really knew what it is, exactly what you had to do before you started to do something? A lot of people don't do things because they're not quite sure they're going to succeed and be really good at it. A lot of people struggle with perfectionism, maybe you're one of them. And unless you know you're going to do something brilliantly well, you're not going to do it at all. It's why a lot of people in their careers plateau after a while, because they get to a level of success where they're excellent at what they do. They're really good. They could do it blindfolded. Absolutely. It's very low risk of them messing anything up. But they don't want to take on a bigger challenge because that's so threatening. They become really vulnerable then to failing, to having their reputation on the line. Better to stay where they are and succeed with what they know they can do really well. But that can be very limiting. Likewise, just in your everyday life, where are you not doing something, learning a new skill, putting yourself out there because you're not quite sure what to do? About 2 years ago, I decided to launch an online website called Raw Courage TV. I didn't really know quite how to go about it, and I can tell you that I've made a few mistakes as I've gone along. But I just decided I didn't want to one day look back and think, what if? So I just went out and I talked to people and I hired the wrong person here and I did the wrong thing there. But eventually I got Raw Courage TV up and online, and it's still in its infancy and a work in progress. But I share it with you because unless we're willing to take a step out toward what it is we really want to do, how are we ever going to learn more about what it's going to take to do more of it? How can you learn to be really good at something unless you start off with being not so good at something? There's 4 stages in the learning process. First, it goes with unconscious incompetence, where we don't even know we're not good at something. The next stage is conscious incompetence. We know that we're not good at something. The next stage is conscious competence. It's like when you learn to drive a car. You've just learned to drive a car, but you have to think about every step to okay, put the key in, put it into reverse, back it out. Everything is you have to think about it. And then the final step is unconscious competence. You don't even think about getting in a car and driving. You just do it naturally. Well, likewise, when it comes to anything worth doing, we have to first go through the phase of realizing, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good at this. I don't have the skills. I don't have the expertise or the insight that I wished I had. But I'm going to just start learning. I'm going to just put myself out there. I'm going to start learning and make a few mistakes. And over time, I'll become consciously competent. And then you'll get to the point where Oprah is on a talk show. She just goes out there and she just does it. So likewise, you think about people who never learnt to swim as kids. They often don't learn as adults because they don't want to go through that same awkward stage of learning that a 3-year-old will go through, where they're sort of awkward and they look silly in the pool and they've got floaties on their arms and they're just learning how to do it. It takes courage because it takes being willing to be vulnerable, to messing up, to making mistakes, to taking the wrong turn here and there. But only then are you going to learn what it takes to do things better. So don't wait till you know everything before you start doing something. What is it? What's a skill you'd love to learn, or a hobby, or maybe it's that big vision that you had that you got a connection with on day 2. You're going to just have to start putting yourself out there even though you're not exactly sure all the steps ahead. Martin Luther King once said, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just the first step. But you've first got to be willing to be imperfect at it, to fall a bit short and just to start doing it. Yeah, do your research, do your homework, but just get in action and do something. And don't let your desire to do things perfectly keep you from just getting it done. As I wrote in another chapter of Brave, done is better than perfect. And I've got to tell you, it's a motto I live by regularly. All right, I hope that you will get in action, even though you're not quite sure what you're doing, with something in the very near future. I'll see you tomorrow.